Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So I am sure you guys have seen this makeup brush floating around Instagram, YouTube. It seems like it's all the rage. This is the Artis oval brush. I don't even really know what to call this brush exactly because Artis is a brand of brushes that makes these very, very interesting toothbrush type brushes. What they claim is that general makeup brushes, those are meant for makeup artists to use on other people, but these are shaped in a way that it makes it very easy and, I don't know, ergonomical for you to use on yourself. And if this thing actually works, who cares that it looks a little silly? I mean, if it works, it works. So jumping into talking about what I know about this brand, because to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this brand, but these brushes are quite pricey. I actually picked up what they call the Oval 8. Now, Artis has a whole bunch of different brushes in a whole bunch of different sizes, all kind of shaped this way, sort of like a toothbrush. And certain brushes are meant to be used on the eyes, of course, the smaller brushes. Some of them are meant to be used on the body because they're really, really big. This brush in particular, the Oval 8, is one of their more very multi-faceted brush. On the back of the box, Artis claims that the Artis oval brushes are great for the application of foundation, eyeshadow, blush, concealer, finishing powder, shimmer / bronzing powder, and skincare. Now I know that you can pick these brushes up on the Artis website, which I will link in the description box below. I actually picked my brush up from Saks Fifth Avenue in store. They had this line. I was able to see all the different sizes. Now Artis also has a whole bunch of different brush lines. So the one that I picked up was the Smoke Finish. This brush, this single brush, cost $65, which is pricey, but for a nice makeup brush, I don't feel like it's totally crazy. Now, right on the back of the box, Artis has written, the Oval 8 is slightly smaller than the Oval 10 and has hundreds of thousands of fibers in an oval shape to provide application to a large area of the face. This patented brush is perfect to apply a foundation or setting powder to the entire face or apply and blend bronzing or highlight powders to entire areas of the face. So I went ahead and filmed a first impressions demo of me using this brush for the very first time, and I really wanted you guys to see and hear my very first impressions, because obviously when you try something so different like this, there is a little bit of a learning curve, but at the same time I feel like either it's kind of intuitive or it just feels ridiculous. This is what it looks like. Like I said, I have the Smoke Finish brush, which is why it is like this darker, like this charcoal gunmetal color. And then the handle itself is rubberized, and it does say Artis on both sides. The brush itself is incredibly soft, like extraordinarily soft. So I mean, there's not a single scratchy fiber in this entire brush, which is really nice. So now let's go ahead and jump right into the demo that I was talking about with my first impressions using this product to apply liquid foundation, concealer, and setting powder. So let's jump into it. So I've already gone ahead and primed my face. Today I'm gonna be using my Too Faced Born This Way foundation. The reason I picked this foundation is because I know it works pretty well with brushes. I didn't want to use a liquid foundation that I wasn't sure how it worked, since this is the first time I'm using this brush. So I went ahead and pumped out some on the back of my hand. I'm just gonna go ahead and just take that and dot that onto my face. And now let's go ahead and take this funky brush and start smoothing it. I heard you just kind of smooth it. You're not really supposed to rub it or like in circular motions. It's just kind of supposed to smooth on. And it seems like it's doing a pretty good job. My biggest thing right now would be that I feel like it doesn't, I don't know how hard you're supposed to press. Maybe you're not supposed to press that hard, because I feel like this part isn't very sturdy. Like, see, it's kind of bending. So when I'm pressing it against my face, can you see it's kind of bending? I almost feel like I'm gonna break the brush. I think I should have maybe gone the size down if I wanted to get more of like up in around my forehead, because my forehead isn't that big. Okay, I'm just gonna take the brush onto the remaining foundation and just kind of get it where I need it. I've always liked the way this foundation looks on my skin, which is why I used it. I didn't want to use a new foundation, obviously, because then I wouldn't be able to test if it was the foundation or the brush. So I know this foundation works well with brushes. So with that being said, I feel like this brush isn't like, it's not meshing the foundation in with my skin the way this foundation normally does. Let's go ahead and do the concealer. I'm gonna use my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I know I love this concealer. I've used it with my fingers, with a brush, with a beauty blender. It works always. So let's see how this goes. So I guess under my eyes, I'll kind of just take like the top portion and start smoothing it. Oh, I think I got concealer in my eye. This is too big of a brush to use under my eye, and it almost feels like it's tugging at my under eyes. It does everything else pretty well. I just don't like it under my eyes. I don't know how much you guys can tell on the camera, but I'm definitely feeling a little masky. Like, the foundation is just sitting, which I don't like, but let's keep going. Let's go ahead and top with powder. I'm gonna use my Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Powder. Just press the brush in. You can see there's a ton of powder on the brush. So I'm gonna take it in the cap and just kind of swirl it. Swirl and then tap. There's still a lot of powder on there. Yeah, I definitely think there's a little bit of a learning curve with this brush. I think once you kind of get the hang of the motion. So I went ahead and took a little bit of powder on the tip of the brush, and I just want to get this kind of under my eyes to kind of set that concealer. So now I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna go put on some lashes, finish my brows so I'm not looking totally naked, and I will be back in a bit. So I hope that demo was at least a little helpful to you guys so you could see the way I use this brush for the very first time. Like I said, this is definitely a product that practice is going to make perfect, but at the same time, there is a little bit of intuition that goes into something like this to see if it actually works. And I do feel like blending in my foundation and concealer was very, very quick and effortless. Like I said, I do feel like the liquid foundation didn't really mesh with my skin the way I would like it to, the way it does with other brushes and my beauty blender. I do really, really like the way it applied my powder though. I felt like the powder went on so quickly and easily, and it just seemed to blend and really just melt into that foundation beautifully. Now, I did want to talk about some pros and cons that I can already tell about this brush from only using it that one time. First pro is that it's really, really nice in the hand. Like, it feels really nice when you're using it to apply your product. A con with that would be, as I did mention already, I feel like this neck right here is flimsy. And I mean, when I'm applying powder or pressing it against my face, I just feel like the brush has a little too much give. Now, I understand that you shouldn't be like jamming it into your face. You just want to use like a light motion to kind of blend everything in. But my natural instinct is just to kind of press, because that's what I do with my normal foundation brushes, is I kind of press them and then kind of blend and use a little bit of pressure to do that. So I think I just have to learn to not do that with this brush. Another pro for me would be the overall size to get a nice large area, because you guys could tell, I mean, I was just covering just everything over my face so quickly. Now, a con for that would be that you don't get a lot of nice precision with this brush, meaning right in around your nose, and more importantly, around your hairline. I feel like I was just kind of getting liquid foundation all over my hairline because it's so hard to, you know, get it right where you want it. I also felt like I was getting so much of the liquid foundation on my eyebrows, because generally when I go and apply my foundation, I mean, I like to not cover up my eyebrows and gunk them up with foundation, and I felt like this brush was definitely gunking the brows. Another pro for this brush would be the fact that I can use it for foundation, concealer, and powder. Now, it's not the most ideal brush for concealer because it is a little big, but to be fair, on the back of the box, it doesn't say to necessarily use this brush for concealer. I feel like it did an okay job, but for foundation and powder, I think it does really well. Now, a con to that could be, I don't know how this brush is going to wash. There are so many bristles in here. It is so densely packed with bristles that I am sure that this brush is going to take a few days to dry when you do a deep cleaning. And the thing with a brush like this is when you're kind of caking on the foundation and the powder over and over again, you definitely want to keep it clean because you don't want to use this brush multiple times on your face and not wash it because it can cause breakouts on your skin. So my overall first impressions on this brush is that it's very unique. It's a really cool concept. I think if you are a person who likes to just quickly apply your foundation and be done, you have places to be, places to go, I do think this brush or this kind of brush can be handy. Do I think everybody needs to own one? Absolutely not. I don't think it's a must-have. I think a beauty blender is a must-have in my honest opinion. This brush, I don't necessarily think it's a must-have. I definitely want to play with this some more, and you guys will get an update from me in a future favorites video on whether I think this is really worth it after I've played with it for a few weeks. I just figured I'd make this first impressions video just to let you guys know what was going through my head the very first time I used it. I think it's fun to do those kinds of videos on a very, very unique or new product, and I don't do first impressions very often, so I thought it was a little different. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and if you have any tips for me to help me use this brush easier, please leave them in the comments down below. I know I'm not the first person to try this brush, so I'm sure you guys have some tips for me that would be very, very useful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video very, very soon. I'll see you then. Bye! It's so slightly gimmicky, but very, very unique. Obviously, there is no eyeshadow. Picked up the eyeshadow palette, which is giant. I did not expect this palette.